Alongside Cougar head coach Nick Rolovich, here's the voice of the Cougars, Matt Chazanow.
It is that time of the week, and it's great to be here. We are live at Zeppo's. We've got ourselves a loaded show here, and again, we are here with Coach Rolovich. And, Coach, this is Cougar football radio show history. We're outside for the first time,
I like it.
And it's very pleasant.
Nice
actually.
fresh air.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it's very socially distant
Right.
and all healthy and appropriate, and that's part of what makes this happen.
Get some vitamin D.
100%.
Yeah.
A little bit overcast, but it kind of soaks through there.
That's right.
I think you get it anyway.
Powerful.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, last week was the first show.
Yeah, wonderful job by you, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you made me feel very comfortable.
Well, what you may, and likewise, two-way street. A lot of love up here. There's a lot of love. We're
because we're undefeated.
we've got like 5 more shows of that, which is
gonna
great.
be great.
Maybe we have like 13 more shows of that.
That'd
You never
be fine
know.
too.
That's a possibility.
I'd like to make some of those sound bites that we played at the beginning of the show. It's
Yeah.
good to hear Borgie explosion. That was pretty good.
That happens.
Yeah.
I don't plan those things.
Your
They
talent. That's what it is. It's not your fault.
It happens. That's awesome. So what we're trying to figure out as we work our way toward kick, for starters, I thought in kind of prepping for the show this week, we may know who we're playing. I thought that was a possibility that we'd have a schedule. We don't yet. That is pending and coming
soon.
So that's my question.
I think it's coming soon.
Do you know when? Do you have any input? Do you have any communication?
I don't have much input, but I think it's got to come soon,
Right.
because people need to have time to prepare, and not only for the opponents, but you're talking about all the logistics that go into moving a football program on the road in, a COVID era. There's a lot more that needs to get done and get prepared. So,
do you know if it will be 3 home games, 3 road games? And
I think that's what they're trying to do for sure.
Okay.
I think that was what, at least I know that was a big point to kind of have some equity in the schedule for everybody to get some home games. I'm not sure about fans or anything like that, but I know it was going to try to be 3 at home, 3 on the road.
Do you have any preferences, not in terms of opponent, but when might home games be, or times, or do you care about any of that stuff? Does it mean anything to you?
Oh, I don't know any of that, and I think the early morning games would be, if we get to a 9 o'clock game, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I think that would be especially with the testing. The testing has thrown a whole different animal into the prep, right? You can't practice or do anything until, you can have distance meetings, you can, get in the weight room spaced out, but that's kind of the things you get to do while the testing gets after they take the test, before you get the results, before practice.
Is that evolving because of the new testing?
Yeah, the new testing's in. I think today was the first day we got all of our guys tested. All the reports said it went very smoothly. So, and it's a credit to our players because, they're taking the sample themselves. It's definitely a different process than. And I appreciate them kind of embracing it and just kind of going as part of their day. It's definitely a different thing than last year for them.
Has that been fairly seamless? As much as this is the strangest time ever.
I think seamless is a hard word, but yeah. I don't think it's distracted our guys very much, and I think that's a positive.
Has it put I'm trying to think of what your practice typically would look like in terms of a structure, and then maybe what it is now. Has it
more time of day? It's probably going to force us to practice in the afternoon, where I was hoping to maybe do some stuff, especially early in the fall in the morning. But that's just how it's going to be.
Were you alluding to the 9 a.m. games being more difficult or less difficult?
Oh, I think it'd be more difficult. You got to get up what time to test and get everything done.
Yeah, what
before?
What would it be actually?
I'm just not sure it's the best thing for the kids.
Yeah, 4 a.m. or something.
Right.
That sounds brutal. Even maybe great for TV, but other than that, maybe not. Yeah, not. A little early for yours truly. If I'm going to be really selfish about it too. Got a 7 a.m. air time. If I'm going to be really. That's the narcissist in me went right to that too.
Your
which
boy will
is
keep
important.
you up. You'll get tested really good. Nathan will get you going.
That is really true. That's true. Maybe I'll be up anyway. What'd you learn in terms of your guys this week? It is maybe not necessarily compressed, but it's a unique calendar. We had a week since we last spoke. You're now on Rogers with the 12, and you're going to be 20 hours a week soon. But
we're 20 now.
You're 20 now.
We're 20 now.
So week to week, you're trying to put together a depth chart, and you said that'd be accelerated. Where are you?
Depth charts. We have a hard enough time making a schedule these days. But, I really don't like making a schedule and then having to change it for the guys. They've been very patient. I can only go a couple days at a time. There's always something new popping up. It's kept us on our toes. Again, another thing I appreciate the players, because their whole day is it could change at any time because of new rules or new testing or everything that's popped up.
It's a very unique amount of flexibility required.
That's right. But you got to midstream adjust. I kind of like being spontaneous. I think for some people who really, there's coaches, and I've been around them that really like the whole year planned out, right? The whole training camp planned out, or scripted in July. We already know how, that's not even close to what this year has been. So I think it's forced people a little bit out of their comfort zone and just keeping them, day by day.
Do you typically change up a practice structure based on what happened in the game before? Is that what you're?
I think we emphasize things more. Generally, we'll keep the same practice flow, but like to sprinkle in things different. And I'm not opposed to change, and I think keeps the kids fresh. And if there is something you want to, put a lot of emphasis on, you just do it.
Anybody jump out to you this past week or so? Any players you would be comfortable giving a shout out, or is it? How about units?
Well, I think Travell Harris and Renard have really, I think Travell has really, he's a talented guy when we got here. I really like his buy-in, because the offense that everyone ran last year was successful, and for all of them to, especially the receivers, to come in with a real open mind to learning, doing something different. And I try to tell them up front, guys, I'm not saying the air raid's bad. I don't know it like, Coach Leach or some of the other guys that are really good at it. So just give this a shot. I think you'll enjoy it. And they seem to be having fun with it.
Did they? What was their initial reaction to the initial run and shoot install in terms of you said, hey, this is going to be a little bit different, and those are kind of the. Let's look at the four top receivers right now, right? It's Calvin Jackson, and I'll allow some flexibility here in wiggle room, but Calvin Jackson Jr., Renard Bell, Travell Harris, and then Jameer Calvin is maybe those are the top four guys, at least four guys with a lot of experience on the roster, and that four guys with great experience on the roster. For them, how'd they react? How'd they respond to it? What's it been like for them? A lot of film watching? Are they outside running routes? What's the deal?
They are spending time outside running routes. The film is – I think they've enjoyed the personal relationships we feel it's needed to run the offense at a high level. And it's not – I'm not calling them selfish. I'm just saying we try to talk in terms of concepts that need two people to get something done. And the encouragement of communication between them along with the quarterbacks, and really never letting an opportunity go by where you don't point out, okay, you guys talk this out. Let's hear what the conversation is. It's not and I think they're enjoying helping each other getting open and seeing how that works. I mean, I'm sure there was a part of the air raid that does that, but I know it's a big thing that we emphasize a bunch.
In terms of communication, in terms of
lining up, talking to each other, getting on the same page, and then it starts verbally, and then as they get good at it, you see some very slight nonverbal communications, whether it's just eye contact or things like that, and they're getting there. Right. They're believing into it, or buying into it.
So when you're playing, right, you're running the run and shoot. You're at Hawaii. You're setting records. You're throwing to Stutzman. Stutzman gets up to the line. Did he have a little signal? Did you get a little
Well, I think what happens is guys start seeing it as a quarterback and knowing when they're going to get the ball. They know, you can just tell a little bit in their body language how they line up. They kind of know maybe the play was designed to attack a defense we've been seeing, and they're very non-robotic. They understand kind of what we're trying to do and how, whether they're going to get somebody open or whether the play call with the defense combination is going to get them open. And I think that's I know it sounds weird, but there are some little body language things where you can tell with, especially your receivers you've thrown thousands and thousands of balls to. You
just have a sort of telepathy. Is it maybe hyperbolic, but like you just know.
It's almost it gets to that point.
Yeah,
it does.
Does it put pressure on you to choose the QB to develop that communication? Do you feel like
it's a part of the evaluation process, his relationship with the receivers, and everyone's kind of feeling each other out right now, right? We haven't even had one real practice.
Right.
But, that is definitely a part of it where, and we not only encourage it, right? We tell them that's something we're looking for.
Yeah. Can you assess that on film? Can you tell?
Well, I think it's more in person than on film. But, guys who do things with confidence, whether it's communicating with the line, whether it's running a huddle, I think you can tell how guys break a huddle. And I think you maybe can see some stuff on film and on TV because I think when you talk about people watching on TV, whether you're a football coach, whether you're just a fan, you see human elements in the game. And I think those are the things that we can't it's not like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Fans see things like that, whether it's, I'm sure nobody is happy with an unsportsmanlike penalty that could be avoided. I mean, those are things that it's not armchair quarterback stuff. That's real human things. That's not the right thing to do.
Interesting. Well, we are live here at Zeppo's. That's our first.
We're live?
Yeah, we are. We are live. We're live here at Zeppo's. We got a great crowd here. We're outside for the first time. It's great to see everybody.
The first time in history we've been outside?
Ever, I think, ever. Jerry's done this for 25 years plus. This is the first.
He's a cougar whisperer.
Right. Jerry had a cougar encounter.
We heard the story.
Yes, it's scary. I don't want to. I mean, I love the Cougs, but I don't know that I want to see those Cougs.
Yeah, it's good to have them out on the prowl.
Yeah, well, just keeping it all in check. Hey, Mountain Cold Refreshment, made to chill, 2020, Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. Live here at Zeppo's outside. We'll be back with Coach Rolovich next.
Is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Runs into a massive. Crimson does not get the yard. It's a goal line stand.
Live from Zeppo's, here's the voice of the Cougars, Matt Chazanow.
Here we are with Coach Rolovich on a Thursday as we are counting our weeks down to the kickoff which is probably going to be announced. Schedule will be announced within the next 48, 72 hours, maybe.
What day is it? Yeah,
today's Thursday.
Yeah,
probably in that world, right?
Good time frame.
Yeah, that's exciting. So next week we'll be talking about some specifics, but we got some great write-in questions here. Also want to announce for those in person, there's going to be a raffle. I was told, right?
Yeah, we're starting a raffle.
That's exciting. That's a new.
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, I like raffles.
Who doesn't like a raffle? Yeah, that's awesome. So what are we raffling off?
I'm not telling people.
Oh, it's a surprise. Okay, all right.
Well, we'll explain it at the end.
Okay, all right. We'll confirm that. All right. So raffle coming, and also question sheets are out. If you're here in person and you write a question, we'll get it on. You know, if it's on Twitter, we'll do our best. But if you're here at Zeppo's,
sure,
we're locked in. So we've got a stack here. So, Coach, let's go through them.
Go.
What position groups present some of the biggest challenges to coach with COVID regulations?
I would think the offense and defensive line. Especially, I think the daily testing will eliminate a lot of those issues, but the contact tracing that would come if someone on the interior D-line and O-line, the spacing, is not there, and so the contact tracer would eliminate a bunch of people.
Okay, all right. So offensive, the trench stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff in the trenches.
That's what I would say.
That's, that's –
they just spend so much of their time close together.
Yeah.
In
drills.
It's hard to have 6-foot splits, and not line up against each other,
Yeah, football and social distancing don't generally go. It's not ideal.
Not ideal.
Unless it's the back end of like a deep ball,
right?
And that'd be great.
Right. Especially a wide open receiver, that'd be fun.
That'd be fantastic.
Yes, that'd be great.
That'd be great. Hey, next question. As a fan, what are some of the Cougar sports you are excited to see in person, or when the time comes in person? I guess because of the COVID.
Big fan of women's volleyball.
Nice. Jen Greeny.
Yeah, I like. I got great respect for all the sports. I like, baseball. I think that's a great ballpark. I caught a couple games before we got shut down in the spring. I thought there was some real positive momentum going with that team, so I'm excited for that.
Did you play? Did you play baseball?
Hot corner, baby.
You did third baseman?
Yeah,
third base?
That's right.
How long did you play baseball for?
Till high school.
High school?
High
Yeah.
school.
I mean, there's nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. What about hoops? Did you play hoops? Did you play volleyball yourself? Did you play anything else?
Not as much volleyball. Some more basketball.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah. Well, did you play in high school?
No.
Just so you were baseball,
football,
and football, baseball, and football was really what
probably
it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. It can be overwhelming. Next question. Oh, and I'm listening for the answer to this one for sure. It can be overwhelming to be a new parent. It's confirmed. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to a new dad?
Nobody's ever ready, even though, everyone says, I'm not ready to be a dad. You are ready to be a dad. Nobody's ever ready. You're gonna love your child and do the best you can, and that's all you can do. So you are ready to do it.
Love that. And I appreciate whoever wrote that question.
Yeah.
I did not write that question, for the record, but I appreciate that question was written. What are some ways for fans and students to show support for the team this year? And that context of that question is tickets and tickets are not available, and This is the very unique situation with coronavirus and with the social distancing policies.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think one way we can start to generate ideas probably is social media. What can we do in the community? What can be done on game day during games where maybe the students or some of the community can, something creative. I don't know, but I think if any ideas people have, we want to continue to raise the flag. We want to play the back home song. We want to sing the fight song. But what else can we do in the community with the space? And I know there's a ton of creative people. Just my short time being around Cougs, I think we could find ways to really do some fun stuff in the community. I don't know what those things are. I think a lot of people would have some good ideas, but I think that should be the brainstorm right now.
I love that you've never been in Martin Stadium for a game as the coach, and of the flag and the at-home song, and you've in the fight. You've talked about this with people apparently.
Yeah. Well, I what's important to the Cougs is now important to me, so I'd like to learn it all and know. And I hope when this ends, we get to experience Martin Stadium the way people talk about it. And one of my greatest fears is that we'll never see that again, and I hope that never gets to happen, because I want to see what makes people so passionate about that experience.
It rocks.
Students,
It's loud.
fans, alums, everybody. That's one of the things. I guess one of my fears. I guess
That would be the real nightmare of it. I mean, that's the worst.
It's just the way people talk about it. Even the guys who've been on the team, right? You know, for me, I've never seen it, never experienced, and so much of it, the community I haven't experienced with the excitement of getting closer to football season. So I would. That's kind of what I look forward to when that does come back.
We are biased, you know. We love this place. I love this place, but I can say objectively, there are moments, especially like the early fall, those early October Saturdays, like a noon, 2-3 p.m. kick Saturday. It's a special place. There's been a lot of sellouts, the wheat fields, the fall colors, the whole thing. There's just nothing like it. It's really unique, and it is loud.
Yeah,
it's loud. I don't know if it's the vibrations off the Cougar football building and the whole deal. I mean, it
That's
pops.
Good.
It's awesome.
You know, people in the conference know it's a tough place to play.
Heck yeah,
and that's a tribute to obviously the teams of the past, but also the fans in the stands and the overwhelming support of the Cougs in the community, right? I mean, those things have an effect on opposing teams, and I think that's why the home field advantage has grown in whatever. And I know it's established now.
For sure. Kyle Smith, head basketball coach. Kyle Smith saw Coach today. Was with that team prior to football.
Right.
I had a chance to take a look at their practice today.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh,
I was
wow,
there,
nice.
looking really good.
Oh yeah.
We can talk.
Well, I mean, what a great deal till COVID came for them.
I know.
They were on a roll.
They were ready to really do something in Vegas. They were playing great. Kyle Smith never did. This is a question. Kyle Smith never did the show outside. Mm-hmm. Why? Why wasn't he not? Why was he unable to do this?
I think he's part gremlin. You got to keep water away from him and get him out of the sunlight.
Yeah, he likes to stay inside. He's a basketball coach.
That's right.
Basketball coaches are not all-weather coaches.
Mm-mm.
Football coaches,
gotta be.
You're in the elements.
That's right.
You're out in it. Do you have a game day all-weather attire situation? Like you have like a lucky sweatshirt, or do you have a lucky T-shirt? Do you wear a certain jacket? Do you have like a thing you do? A boot? Are you boots?
Boots.
Your boots. Okay.
Yeah, but not on game day. When we go to work practice, I wear them. But I try to be consistent. Not that I have something now, but I try to be consistent with what sock goes on one foot. I know,
really?
I know those things. Yeah.
Well, how far are you understating this? Is this like, do you really get into that?
No, I believe starting from the night before a game, since I was a player, I would go through the same routine.
Do you care to share that?
Not really.
Okay.
Someday.
But we know that one sock goes on one.
Well, last year it was.
Okay. Well, and last year went great.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine that continues.
Right. It is. How I approach it.
We'll get into it. Are you like? Is that like butterfly effect? Like, one thing can affect, like a butterfly's wings affect, the wind,
the hurricane,
whatever. However that saying goes,
I just think consistency works.
Love it,
and that's kind of where I start with it.
All right. Yeah,
it makes me feel like I'm good.
Yeah, it's a security thing.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for those questions, guys.
Good questions.
Yeah, if there are more to come, please drop them on the table. We'll do Twitter questions next. We are live here at Zeppo's with Coach Rolovich. It's great to be with you. It's show number 2, and a beautiful evening here outside on the Palouse as we continue here next.
This is
focused on serving the people and businesses in Washington and all across the country since 1863. That's U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Live from Zeppo's with Coach Rolovich. Here's Matt Chazanow.
Rolling through, enjoying a beautiful evening here on the Palouse as Coach Rolovich joins us here every Thursday. We're getting toward our season kickoff here in this unique year, a year unlike any other. A few more questions here for you, Coach.
Sure.
All right, speaking of position groups, which we had mentioned previously here on the show, which is the most superstitious in your experience?
Ooh, kickers.
Oh, for sure, right, yeah.
After them, it could be old linemen.
Are they?
Could be.
Like, same order?
Well, they got a lot of armor to put on, right? They got knee braces.
Okay.
I would bet, sitting. I don't know. I'm sure everyone's got a little bit, but maybe O-line.
In your experience, when O-linemen come off the field after touchdowns, of course, do they sit in the same order that they play in? Are they like always next to each other? Like,
they probably end up establishing their own seats.
I feel like that would happen at dinner.
Yeah,
that would happen like at meals, weight room. Like your left tackle, your left guard.
They probably do.
Yeah.
It's like your hand, right? Your fingers don't move.
Right? Like it's a good right. You wouldn't want it would mess the order up.
It would be hard.
Yeah. Do you think? Oh, here's a question.
Okay.
Do you think you're the coach to finally, that's in all caps, take us to an Apple Cup win?
I plan to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one part of especially this place. I think that's real exciting to be a part of.
Yeah.
With a game, all games are important. We understand that, but something that is almost spiritual to the community. I like that.
It's exciting. You've been in tune with that since day one.
I like those. I think it's great that college football has those type of games.
Did Hawaii have a?
Not to this extent.
Yeah. But Nevada?
We messed with Fresno a bunch.
Yeah.
BYU had a good history with Hawaii. Mm-hmm. That's probably one of those. Probably those are the two.
Yeah. Very cool. With the shortened season, how do you think the bowl games / playoffs are going to pan out? How do you think that's going to work?
I don't know.
And
I think they'll still try to do bowl games.
It was announced that there was no longer a win qualification for bowl games.
So what was going to qualify people?
Now that's a great question. Now I don't know how bowls will decide or how leagues will tier.
How many fans you're going to travel is usually the next thing they look at, right? And who knows if that's going to be even able to be done.
Right.
So I guess it's who puts on the best show.
Right. I mean, who's just by brand or whatever, who's the most attractive. I will say, personally, I can vouch for Cougs being the how do I put this to be politically correct? They're a very thirsty fan base. They get parched on the road. And before bowl games, they seem to go to the radio show, and there's a contingent at the establishment, and there's a good time had by all.
Bowl coordinators
they love that.
Take that into consideration.
I think it is. It's a travel. It's a great travel crew.
Business is business.
Yeah, it is. And that's going in San Diego and then in San Antonio and the whole deal. It's been awesome. Will we be able to attend practices in Martin Stadium? This is going to be tough, isn't it?
I think that's going to be tough
with COVID.
Yeah. The corona.
Yeah.
Is I don't know. I like the idea, but if we're not going to have fans in the game, I'm not sure we're going to. There's so much stuff to go through.
Yeah.
I would love to, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a. Would that normally there would be some fans at practice?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think that'd be fun.
Okay.
Especially like when the kids come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They get and be around the guys, and I like to make sure that our players know that even though they may not feel like major role models, they are to some kids, and they got to do, just saying hello to a kid does a big. I mean, it could change a kid's life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially like younger kid. Abe Lucas is an imposing figure.
Right.
It's a
and when
guy.
They see what, he is imposing, but when you get up close and you get to see what kind of genuine person he is, I think that does a lot for a young mind.
Let's talk about Abe. Let's talk about the O-line. Let's talk about Max Borghi and Deion McIntosh and Clay Markoff and Juvensley Bazile and some of the other backs. And if I missed any, please let me know. But we've got you'd alluded to offensive line kind of being the depth of the team right now.
Well, I think that's a positive for us right now, especially with the experience. They're a smart group. They are able, at least from Coach Webb's, reports back, they really take the learning from the meeting room and apply it on the field very, very cleanly. And especially with a group, it's a good part of the team to have veterans or just general confidence in a shortened season, shortened training camp, shortened everything, right? You win and lose up there, even though maybe the offense isn't. They're still incredibly important for us to go, and I think that gives us a chance. Depending on how much stuff we can get in or how much offense we can get in, at least we know right now we can count on the offensive line to be a positive for us.
Abe Lucas, right tackle. Josh Watson, maybe Brian Green is the center. Liam Ryan is on the left side. Do we know the fifth, and do we know the spots?
No,
for
we're trying to give a lot of reps right now in the learning process. It's hard without being able to go through a contact and see who fits in. But I think the willingness of the whole group, I think it's a real positive. Especially we're excited about the young guys that signed, and they're coming up. I think the older guys are bringing them along, like big brothers, and it seems to be a pretty sound group as far as character and desire to be great for the Cougs. I mean, I get a lot of the stuff, whether it's we're going to play in bad weather, they love it, you know what I mean? And I think that's been established, whether it was Coach Leach's or Mason's, but they have a good mindset that where nothing is going to distract them from doing their job.
Liam Ryan was on our Saturday show. We've been doing the thing on Saturdays now leading up to the season, and that was a lot of fun.
I bet.
It was great. We had Pat on. And
he's a pretty honest interview, I bet.
He was great. He's very candid. He's really reflected as a redshirt senior.
Right.
He expressed a sense of responsibility to the program, to freshmen, and he mentioned coaches. He said, coaches are new. He said, I'm not new. I've been here a really long time. And he really felt like he had a sense of responsibility to make it, his words, he said he wants to make it easy for coaches to transition, which was kind of reversed.
Well, that's nice of him to say.
That's what he said, yeah.
But I'll tell you who appreciated that probably the most is the alums, to see that an older guy on the team is taking that kind of responsibility, because I think that's how all alumni feel. You know what I mean? And probably makes them feel good that somebody's coming up that's taking that approch. How
do you feel about the running back group? Who stands out to you? And
they're all talented. They're all talented. Obviously, Markov's been impressive for such a big, strong guy. His athleticism, balance, how he catches the ball. Dion has extreme speed, has some history as a wide receiver. Obviously, Max, we've seen a bunch out of. JoJo, I really enjoy being around JoJo and watching him. I think he's developed even in the last couple weeks.
JoJo's Juvensley. Yeah. Okay.
Really liked hearing about his upbringing. He's Haitian, and I think there's some interesting stuff there. So it's a good group that Coach Smith gets to work with. And the good thing that, with Coach Smith has such a top to bottom idea of the offense, they really get a piece of the passing game. They get a piece of the, obviously running the ball, but understanding pass pro. I think they will come out of the program very attractive to pro teams because of their knowledge top to bottom of offense.
What is the running back's role in the pass game?
Well, we like to call them the super back. We usually don't talk about them as running backs.
Super
backs.
Okay.
They do everything.
Like on my prep board, should I put super back? Or are we gonna?
Well, if you want to keep doing the show,
well, I want to be
put super back.
done. SB.
That started with Mouse Davis because of the amount of responsibilities they have in the offense. But what was your question? I'm sorry.
Well, what's the role of the super back in the run and shoot? Is the expectation? Are they going to catch a lot of balls in the flat? Are they going to take a lot of handoffs? Is it mainly pass protection, or will there be?
Definitely have an element of pass protection. We would like them to be explosive when they get the ball. Right around 150 yards a game from the running back position, whether it be screens or catches or running the ball. Over the years that has translated into wins for us. We don't. People worry about the wide receivers, the 4 wide receivers, so much. He's kind of the fifth real weapon, that big yards per carry, explosive when the ball gets in his hands in the passing game. Those types of things are. But I know we're going to win games when he's not going to get that position group won't get 150. We may lose games when he gets 150, but on average, that's kind of what some of the thoughts we look for.
What's the history with Mouse Davis, who's from Palouse, Washington, and that whole story is great.
He FaceTimed me last week.
Did he?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, I mean, he was just checking in.
That's
I just
so
didn't
fun.
expect him to FaceTime.
Instead of calling.
Oh, yeah, it was great. But I drove through Palouse and took a picture of the sign, the Viking sign. I sent it to him. So I actually didn't know he was born here until I got here.
I mean, that is what a full circle, fun story.
Oh, we'd love to get him up here. I think people would really enjoy him. He's a true character, and he's so energetic for a guy his age, and his belief in the offense really affects even just one day speaking to the wide receivers or the quarterbacks. He gets their belief system going at even a higher level. That's all.
It's just a genuine enthusiasm.
Oh yeah,
and a passion.
And I'm sure
it.
June Jones would love to come by. I mean, some of those things, because it's kind of a small tree of the offense. You know what I mean? With the air raid's got probably a little bit more roots as far as more people doing it, but run shoot's got a little bit more of a smaller tree.
What would the genealogy of the run and shoot be?
Well, Tiger Ellison.
Okay.
In his book, even though I think if you read his book, you see the beginnings of the thought process. The formations and the plays aren't necessarily going to match up to what you'll see in Martin Stadium, but the thought process of breaking down a field and establishing areas and people being responsible for that areas, you kind of, and then you see how Mouse took it, when he was at high school in Oregon, and then kind of ran through the NFL and CFL, and June took it and did a little bit more with it and built on it. I think you got to throw Dan Morrison in there as a quarterback coach. And there are some. It's been fun with social media. Kind of, there's kind of different high school coaches around the country that still run it, and just connecting with them, with just talking with somebody who understands it at that level is fun.
So, and you guys must communicate, I would think, about.
Sometimes.
About talk ball sometimes.
I talked to Coach Jones maybe last night.
Really?
Yeah. And just some of the things he's done in the XFL with it, especially on a shortened he didn't have spring ball, right? When they were starting the XFL, they just had training camp. So some of his approaches, may match up with how we have to do things. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We're talking football here with Coach Rolovich, talking run and shoot, all kinds of things, taking questions. We are live here as we continue here at Zeppos.
Back here live at Zeppo's with Coach Rolovich. It is great to be talking ball here as the Cougars take on a Pac team in about a month. That's what we know, and we'll get specific with it in a few weeks. We were talking about the running back position group, and then we were into the kind of the history of the run and shoot, which the tree of which is super fun. And if you're kind of a football nerd and getting into it, and then the XFL, June Jones was in the XFL, Arena League, alternate football leagues. How do NFL Europe? You were in NFL Europe. How do you feel about kind of
good for the game? They're good for the game. You know, one thing about college football or when the NFL doesn't work out, it's a very hard transition for a lot of guys who've done that probably the majority of their life. Mm-hmm. And to give guys another opportunity to keep playing, maybe try to figure out, make a few bucks and figure out maybe what they want to do with the rest of their life and keep playing, having fun, good experiences, good people. I think that's all positive for the game. That break snuck up on me. I had a French fry left in my mouth.
The end of the break, the coming back. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's all right.
Excuse me.
No, it's good. No, that's my fault.
And Zeppo's,
I went for 3 fries instead of 1.
Well, that's a classic.
That's a move.
You got to count on.
That's right.
You got to get the time. It's all about timing.
That's right.
Timing and spacing, like the run and shoot.
There you go.
It's a lot like it. Hey, Team Conquer Lime on Twitter wants to know about Jaden DeLora. What's he been like? How was his film getting recruited? You know Jaden from back at Hawaii.
Right.
He's on the islands, and will he be in the mix as a starting QB job? That's the spirit of Team Conquer Lime's question.
Yeah, I think we've got 4 guys on the roster right now, and they're all getting a ton of reps. You like to have 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks because of all the throws. But right now we got 4, but that's increasing their opportunities and their learning with the reps they get. So I think he's doing fine. I think he got here, he stayed here. Has been here the whole time since where some guys we gave some weeks off. He's far away from home. He kept working. So I think it's going to be a very interesting quarterback battle because they all do certain things well.
Who's 4 quarterbacks? Who's the scout team QB? Let me put that differently. Who's the quarterback for the defense?
It might be Colney Castle.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Colney Castle.
I don't know Colney.
He's on our staff.
Okay,
he was a former quarterback.
I don't remember that.
We might need them all to do offensive practice.
Well, I ask
we'll
also,
get stuff
it's
done.
a little bit of a loaded's the wrong word. I heard it was sometimes you.
I got out there a little bit.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, I got out there a little bit.
How's the arm feel?
Felt good. Yeah. But Boyle can throw the ball.
Dick Kenny?
Yeah. Boyle can throw the ball. A lot of guys, I'm not sure. That's kind of down the list of we'll figure somebody. If they need me to go over and throw, I'll go throw.
Well, that's what I thought. But
I'll never hear the end of it if I throw a pick to them.
No, they won't let it go. They won't let it go. Hey, John the Coug wants to know, and we've kind of covered this a little bit, but we didn't get super specific. What is the team right now allowed to do, and when do pads come on?
Well, let's go backwards. Pads will come on. The training camp rules will then apply once you get the first game. So you'll get 25 practices within 29 days from the first game. That includes game week. So if November 7th weekends ends up being it, if it's a Friday night game, then a week from today would be the beginning of training camp, quote unquote. If it's a Saturday game, then Friday next week would start. And even you still have to do the 5 days of helmets, just shoulder pads. You still have to do that 5-day period to get them ready for training camp. So,
do you like to hit a lot in practice? Do you like contact in practice?
Probably not. It just because of the style of offense. I think physicality is definitely an important part of it. It's just we concentrate more on execution and teaching. But there is an element of this game where you got to get physical, and we'll have live periods. We'll have a scrimmage. We'll try to find some drills that really juice up the team and give kids opportunities to rise and maybe how they're perceived on the team. So
there will be some moments where it's full green light and have at it.
And that'll depend on health too.
Yeah.
We that's the balancing act right now. How much can you push? You want to keep pushing because you got to cram it in, but you got to make sure that they're their bodies are fresh come game day.
All right, we're up against it. We're getting toward the back end. We got to get another break in here. We are live. We'll have some more questions coming in on Twitter. We have a raffle for those who are in person coming up. It's a beautiful evening. We're getting toward nightfall here on the Palouse. We're working through it here.
That's
getting toward 7. We'll be back right after this break.
And now.
So I got a nugget here.
This is the U.S.
Paul
Bank
Stark.
Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Runs into a massive. Crimson does not get the yard. It's a goal line stand.
Live from Zeppo's, here's the voice of the Cougars, Matt Chazanow.
So I've got a note here. We're live with Coach Rolovich at Zeppo's. I've got a note that Bill Belichick, the longtime great head coach of the New England Patriots, was comparing his offense or
The
great
Chiefs.
offense, the Chiefs'
The Chiefs'
offense,
offense, I think.
to the run and shoot.
The run and shoot with Barry Sanders. A lot of people don't know Barry Sanders got to play in the run and shoot. Had some real production.
I don't think I realized Barry Sanders
with
in the run and
Mouse and
shoot.
June up there. Yeah. So I started the article. I said, it'd be good for get out there. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. The Chiefs are playing well. I mean, that's pretty good football.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the Chiefs are as good as
And Russell Wilson is playing good football.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. There's a lot of good football.
There's a
going
lot
on.
of good football.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good quarterback play.
Yeah. Is the Lions Barry Sanders run and shoot? That's a running back heavy run and shoot.
Well, I
mean,
well, you see probably real. I don't know the numbers, but what running backs tend to really like is the space. You know, you're talking about just 5 linemen and, you know, probably 5 or at most 6-man boxes, right? And if you got 6-man boxes, I think the receivers got one-on-ones or good spacing to get open. But once you get 5-man boxes, you get the ball to Barry Sanders, you got 1-for-1 up the front on the O-line versus D-line.
I mean, so Max Borghi or Deion McIntosh or whoever it may be can expect. I guess where my head goes also with that is there's a lot of running in the run and shoot. I'm trying to figure out what if that was the Barry Sanders offense, because the Lions, I mean, we can go back Johnny Morton and Herman Moore, and they were great receivers, but Barry Sanders is
Barry's
Barry. Yeah,
I love Barry.
Yeah, all time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's maybe what Coug fans could somewhat.
If Coug fans get to see Barry Sanders type football, I would be very happy.
That'd be great.
That'd be great for everybody.
That'd be great. I think it's 6:52. We got to take another break, and that's the last one we'll take, and then we'll be back here for a few minutes live here at Zeppo's. Coming back next. Back here live at Zeppo's.
Interact with
I
the
did it
show.
again.
Tweet your questions for
Got me
Coach
again.
by tagging the
Every
handle
time.
M_Chaz. Live from Zeppo's with Coach Rolovich. Here's Matt Chazanow.
Got a couple minutes left here at Zeppo's. It is a gorgeous evening. It's been great talking ball with you, Coach. In a little bit, if you're here, we're going to do a raffle.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, you've got a bracelet on. Can you describe that for listeners if you're not viewing?
This comes from my Chinese friend back in Hawaii who gave me
You should show it to the folks.
maybe right there. There's only one of the legs of my dragon turtle broke, so I had to send it back to him, so he had to fix that.
It's an Asian or Chinese.
It's more Chinese.
So it's a Chinese.
Feng shui.
It's like a lot of beads around there.
Yeah, dragons on it.
You like
Tiger
Chinese
eye.
art kind of
Well,
thing.
it helped me last year win football. You talk about superstition.
There we go. All right. Hey, we got about 60 seconds.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
very much. Thanks to everybody here at
Yep.
Zeppo's. Thanks to Jerry Kylo, who gets us on the air.
Yep.
As always, Jared Prengruber is behind this outside here. He's been great. Thanks to viewers. Thanks to listeners. Huge thanks to Hollywood Bill Stevens for
Billy Meatballs.
getting us set up. And it is great to see everybody. And we'll be back next week at 6 o'clock talking ball. Thank you,
That's
Coach.
the deal.
It's all. And we're going to do a raffle here in just a second if you're live in person.
And the raffle, we're going to give away Coug Bucks.
Coug Bucks.
Yeah, that you are not forced to, but we suggest you do something.